Whiteout 87.8. Stay frosty, Sakal.
Greetings, Sakal. It's Charlotte Webb again. Here to bring you news, stories of intrigue, and of course, the finest entertainment to be found in an apocalyptic wasteland. Over the last week, some controversial efforts were made by a group calling themselves the Aid Station. While they insist their efforts have been to quell war in Sakal and provide assistance to struggling survivors, other factions believe their efforts have been more nefarious in nature, with their actual intent being complete control of the island. In the interest of free press and unbiased journalism, I decided to see for myself. I requested an interview with Delta and was promised a safe escort and closer look at what they are calling the DMZ. I pulled my Sarka into Petropavlovsk just before dawn. Considering their reputation, you might expect a military barracks or possibly a prison. Instead, I was instructed to meet at the Petro Regional Hospital. Taking a right at the church, I could hear the sounds of hammers and saws as daylight quickly revealed something I didn't expect. 3 men were busy constructing a courtyard. One stopped their work and came to greet me, as I came to stop at what I can only describe as a sea of tents, open to the public. As 2 of the men stowed their tools, the man who introduced himself as Sam gave me a tour of their layout. Each tent appeared to be stocked with all manner of items, backpacks, tools, and food, lots and lots of food.
Have a look, it's just all gear and loot and stuff for survivors. Like Delta says, we only just started really here the last few days, so it's going to get bigger and better.
We chatted for a moment about the area while I perused the courtyard in awe of what they had amassed. But suddenly our conversation was cut short by gunfire.
Shots.
There's some shots going on.
They quickly ushered me into the hospital lobby where I hunkered down with my notepad, eager to ask these men some pressing questions about the current state of the war. I think the most pressing thought on my mind was why. What was the point? Did they have a primary objective? And if so, how did they plan to achieve it? Delta was happy to provide an answer.
Well, I think the aid station's a big part of it for us. We want to set up a place for people to go. You know, if they need food, they need water, whatever else. We're not going to just lie down and let things happen where we're under attack or we're getting grief. So we're also not afraid to use our muscle.
And use their muscle they have. If the rumors are true, then they have indeed flexed 1 or 2 in the process of achieving their goals. This begs the question, though. What about the civilians? Did they have any plan in place to minimize casualties and damage to infrastructure?
No, just trying to bring back the sense of community and that people can start trying to trust each other again. Bit more than peace in the world, instead of us all trying to fight each other.
I guess as well, there's always going to be conflict, isn't there? But we can carve out a slice of stability, and that's what the aid station's for. That's where, even if we're in conflict with someone, we wouldn't, if they came here, we wouldn't shoot them, we wouldn't attack them or do anything to them. I think that's an important part of it.
Max offered me a bit of fish that had just finished cooking as he went back to his task of cleaning, cooking, and storing the rest of their day's stock. It did appear that these men were offering some semblance of generosity to folks looking for a leg up on the island. On top of the fact that I hadn't been shot yet, I felt comfortable enough to ask a bit more of a delicate question. What was their response to accusations of human rights violations? Was there a reason for the rumors of their supposed violent actions?
So it's sort of a collateral damage. It's not something that we try and go out of our way to do. There has been times when we've had members, you could say, that were corrupted by things that could say that maybe that was the environment that they're in. But yeah, there's times when it's not been perfect and bad things have happened. Overall, our intentions are good and we hope to bring a bit of peace.
It almost felt as though there was a tinge of remorse in his response, but nonetheless they seemed open to talk about it. And by all accounts, there has been violence from the aid station side. Let's face it, war is a horrible, messy thing for all people involved. I decided to ask what their biggest threat was from their opposition. Several groups have expressed disdain for the aid station, and I was curious if they took their opponents' words seriously.
I'm not sure if we if we feel threatened, but I think we also want to make sure that we can create this space and we can protect it, and also make sure that any factions that are challenging that, we will take action against. The recent examples have all been stuff that we've retaliated to. We haven't started anything without there being just cause, which I think is a big part of
our
the way we do
intentions
things.
are to try and cool down our military activity. We want to bring a bit of normality back, because at the moment it has been a bit hectic.
Not feeling threatened in a time like this seemed strange to me, but I've also never been in their shoes, facing opposition from forces on all sides. Perhaps it's that kind of mentality that helps them get through the day. Maybe it's the nature of those involved in a war to remain calm and focused towards a goal, despite the obstacles. Was their goal peace? Others don't seem to think so. So as the sun reached its apex and our time was running thin, I decided to ask my final question. What was their end game? How did they see this war come to a conclusion, if it even could? And what role would they play in that possible future?
I think we want to offer that place where where people can come together. But I guess in terms of the current conflict, we can be a force for good in that. We can make sure things don't escalate.
Any plans of bringing your enemies to the table to kind of have some sort of discussion of a peace agreement, or is this a all-out, scorched earth policy?
Without going into too much detail, I think we've already had some discussions. I don't want to go into detail about that, but we've had some discussions already to try and level things out. But that's for other people to talk about too. So.
Fair enough. Well then, I guess
It's a bit of a delicate situation, but we're hoping, cool heads will prevail. So.
Could cooler heads prevail in a time of such high tension and animosity? At this point, I'm not sure, but the optimist in me hopes their delicate plans would somehow reach a peaceful resolution for the citizens of the island. With that, I thanked Max, Sam, and Delta, packed my notepad and the bag of freshly cooked fish they gave me as a parting gift. Getting in my Sarka, pulling away from the aid station, I took one last look at it. Could such a place, with so many odds against it, stand in a harsh and unforgiving place like Sakal? Would this reach a conclusion of peace? Or would my next visit be to a pile of smoldering tents and a dream broken against the rocks by outside forces? Only time will tell. If you would like to be featured, whether you're a solo survivor just trying to get by, or a larger force trying to tell the island about yourselves, please reach out. We're always looking to tell the stories of our community. For now, this is Charlotte Webb with Whiteout 87.8 signing out. Stay warm, stay armed, and as always, stay frosty.
Whiteout. Stay frosty.